Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Terra Cresta for the Nintendo Entertainment System. In this 1990 shoot-'em-up from Vic Tokai and Nihon Busan, you pilot the Wing Gallibur to fly around and shoot stuff, because what else would you do in a spacecraft armed to the teeth with laser cannons? Seeing as this is a port from a 1985 arcade title, Terra Cresta is what you'd expect from an old-school scrolling shooter. It has a high score focus and stages that just loop indefinitely with increasing difficulty. Flying enemy waves move in defined swirling patterns, and ground turrets stay fixed in place, both launching projectiles at you. Terra Cresta also features a small handful of bosses, which fly back and forth, sending out a steady stream of tightly spaced bullets and single-hit drones. It's all pretty typical, but what makes Terra Cresta unique is its power-up system. In numbered containers throughout each stage, you can find extra parts to build up your ship. When they're docked, they boost your firepower and act as single-hit shields. But you also have a limited use ability to send the extra parts out in formation to act as battering rams and a spread shot for a short period of time. There's an added novelty to this system too. At the game's start screen, you can configure the layout of this formation as well as the direction of fire for each segment. And the most powerful upgrade comes when you manage to equip all 4 of the bonus ship parts. You turn into an invincible phoenix that can destroy all enemies on contact for a limited time. In general, I'd say birds are less threatening than armed spaceships, but when that bird is an armed spaceship and happens to be an unstoppable inferno of destruction, that's definitely a bit more lethal than the average pigeon. The graphics here are fitting for a game called Terra Cresta, since they forsake a traditional space setting for a planet surface, lined with well-rendered craters and metal structures. The Wing Gallibur ship itself is a highlight, since you can see it physically upgrade with each auxiliary part, scaling up with more colorful details and lasers. And my favorite bit of pixel art in the game would have to be that one boss that's half spacecraft, half robot, and shoots rocket arms at you. Here's hoping we can make enough bioengineering strides that I can be a multi-limbed spacecraft robot someday too. Not only would I be able to launch my rocket arm to grab the TV remote from the other side of the room, I could be the TV remote. And the TV! Terra Cresta only has one background chiptune for the stages, but I'm particularly fond of the different bassy tracks that accompany each boss fight. And as far as sound effects go, I really like how your cannon sounds deeper and more resonant with each upgrade. Bigger ship, deeper roar. There's also a short jingle when you respawn at a checkpoint, and for some reason it changes to a more upbeat flourish when you're on your last life. I don't know if it's meant to be encouraging, but it felt more like the game was mocking me sometimes. That being said, Terra Cresta had every right to mock me. I am absolutely terrible at this game. If everything moved like 20% slower, maybe I'd fare a little better, but as it stands, I couldn't even get past the first boss on my own merit. So I used the go-to cheats at my disposal: rapid fire and save states before and after each boss encounter. That at least let me maintain my power-ups to stand a fighting chance in the late game. Even still, everything was so hectic that looping the game just a single time was no easy task, and it seemed like I was falling for the same trap over and over again. The flying enemy ships tend to force you to the far edges of the screen, then shoot at you when you're cornered and have nowhere to run. Lovely. But that did make things all the more satisfying when I dispatched my ship formation to just utterly decimate anything that flew my way. If I could change one thing though, I'd standardize the enemy patterns. They tend to change based on your on-screen position, which made it really hard to plan a reliable route through the levels. Overall, Terra Cresta has a lot going for it. It's a great time when you're fully powered up, and I love the idea of the customizable ship formation. The challenge level is definitely a setback, but I get the impression that's more of a me problem than an inherent design flaw. I mean, the game has Phoenix Infernos and rocket robot arms. When you think about it, that's all anyone could ever ask for.